on, as I said, we're up on the high side of the road. Anyway, there was lots of noise that night. We looked out, God, there were so many deer in the front yard. Somewhere between about 2 and 3. There was a lot of noise again. I heard deer coming down the road. You could actually hear them quick pop. So we got up against the bedroom window, and as I looked out, as the deer were disappearing up the road, I saw something from my right shoot up and go in front of a car. I think it's pretty sure it's a Datsun 120Y, which used to park across from the street from us all the time. I said, well, this is really weird. I saw something, and then as you could look down at the car, you could see something dark from the front of the car from where the headlights were, which to me looked like legs. And then at the front, you could just see some black things as well, which looked like hands or whatever. But it made it the length of the car, which to me, I said that there was 2 things there, or it was one thing. As I said, something shot from there straight across the road to in front of our next door neighbour's lot. It was long, black. As I say, it had to be at least 3 metres long. It was very, very long. It didn't look all that bulky. It just looked long and stretched out. I just said to Mrs. That's it, I'm going out to see what it is. And I took off in my underwear, out of the bedroom, down the hall, down the flights of steps, and I got down into our driveway, Pete. And I looked up the road to the neighbour's lot in front of their front fence. And they have a heap of overhanging trees that went over and sort of created like a semi-tunnel. And I looked down there and I could just see this big black mass. I could just see like an outline of it. It was like very wide. It was 3-4 feet wide, I would say. I could see shoulders and then a head, the roundness of a head. There definitely weren't any antlers or anything like that, because I was thinking it might have been a big deer or a big male deer or something like that, but I couldn't see that. As I got there, and I sort of went like this to try and get its attention, and it slowed down as it was just moving slowly away from me, slowed down, turned around, as you could see it turn around, but I couldn't see, again, I could only just see the silhouette, and it probably became, I would say, 5 to 6 feet high at that point, but still quite broad, and I could still see its shoulders and head, and then it just let go the most blood-curdling, unbelievable growl. I could actually feel it in my chest as it went through me, and it absolutely scared the hell out of me. And I get scared very easily, and every hair on my body stood up, and I just took off straight back up the stairs. And I'm just, as I'm going up the stairs, I'm yelling, "Where's the camera? Grab the camera!" And my missus is just inside the front door. She's going, "What?" I'm going, "Get the camera, get the camera." She grabbed there was actually just a digital camera just inside on the desk. I grabbed that, ran back down with the camera, ready to see if I could get a shot, and there wasn't a deer left in the street. There was nothing, absolutely nothing had happened at all. It was just quiet, still, went back up. I think we stayed awake most of the night after that. Every little noise we heard, we were back up looking out the window, and yeah, that's what happened.
The growl that you mentioned really interested me. You actually felt the growl through your body.
Oh yeah, in my chest. I felt it scared the hell out of me. It was a real deep, long, and I just thought, in that split second, this thing's coming to get me. Shot back up the stairs, and I ran out. I wanted to get a photo of it. So not one deer left, and there was so many deer. There wasn't one deer left in the street, and I'm probably looking from there. I'm probably looking about 100 metres up to the end of the street. There wasn't a deer. It was dead, absolutely dead set, quiet and calm. So yeah, it was a very, very strange experience. And I think I've hunted most of my life. I've lived out in the bush, and I've never heard or seen anything that it could be like. We went through all sorts of things. Was it a wild pig? But geez, it was a wild pig. By God, it was a bit. It stood 6 foot tall at least.
It does seem that this thing was upright, as big as a person, and very wide.
Say it was dark brown or black.
What you were describing was kind of a man-sized, upright, but very wide thing, dark, but you did see a head, so it was sort of human-like silhouette, but wider.
Big, bulky, football-sized head. Big, rounded, domed head. And then the shoulders came off of it. Sort of, from the shoulders, I suppose it's splayed out a little bit more down the bottom, down what I'd say say with the hindquarters or whatever, it actually splayed out more. So when it turned around, when I first saw it, it was probably about 4 foot, 5 foot. As from the back of it, when I was looking down the road, when it turned around, it actually rose up more, another foot or two.
So it could possibly have been hunched over.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. And even when by going by, even though as I caught it going across the road, and as I said, I thought it was like 3 metres long. At that point, I would have thought it was stretched out almost on all fours, if you know what I mean, keeping really low.
Does the size of the thing that you saw from the back as you came out, after you came out of the house, does it tally with what you saw but kind of beside the car, or?
You couldn't see through the car, so you can only see from the front of the car to the back of the car. And like I said, I could just see it hanging out the back and just see it hanging out the front. So it was only a Jackson 120 wide, so that was probably around the 3.5 metres long, something like that.
You mentioned that you actually saw it take off across the road.
Yeah, turned to the missus, come and have a look at this, and then as it turned again, it went from the front of the car and man quick. And as I said, at that point, I would presume it was stretched out and low, keeping very, very low. And just really quickly across the road and then into this very dark spot in front of the other lot. So it was only a matter of it crossing the 2 lanes of the road.
Which it must have done on all fours, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. I'm thinking it was on all fours, keep very low. Then I was probably about 105 kilos.
Based on your weight, what would you say the bulk of this thing would have been?
Double me, easy.
Double?
Easy. It was so wide, so bulky, so the size of its head and shoulders, I would say at least double me.
When you saw it from the back, what sort of distance are we talking that you were away from it?
From one driveway to another driveway, so 20 metres. It was moving away from me, and when I made the noise, it turned around to see what it is.
Quite often we hear people who talk about encountering these things and also hearing kind of a growl, and they say, this was a sound that really impacted you.
Oh, absolutely. I would probably say as scared as I've ever been. Surprised my missus too. She actually said it's the first time she'd ever seen me scared. The last thing I was expecting was that noise. You know what I mean? That was the absolute last thing I was expecting. Just how made every hair on my body stand up. It was unbelievable. That real low, deep, but it was just, it was scary. It scared the hell out of me.
Your description reminded me sometimes I've been to rock concerts where you're near the speakers and you actually feel the bass vibration going through your body.
Exactly right. That's exactly how I describe it, yeah. Like you hear that bass goes through you.